Welcome to the next episode of App Guide. In this episode, we will be solving some important problems on simple interest and compound interest. As always, I am suggesting you to watch the videos on each topic in sequence for better understanding. So, we will go straight away to the questions. 57th question is, a person invested in all rupees 2600 at 4%, 6% and 8% per annum simple interest. At the end of the year, he got the same interest in all the three cases. Money invested at 4% is. So in this question they are telling that a person invested a total principal value in three different rate of interest. And at the end of the year or after the first year, he got the same interest in all the three cases. We need to find out the principal amount invested at 4%. Okay. So in this question they are telling that interest is same in all the three cases. So we can write it as I1 is equal to I2 is equal to I3. And we know that simple interest is equal to PRT by 100. Okay. So this we can write it as P1 R1 T1 by 100 is equal to P2 R2 T2 by 100 is equal to P3 R3 T3 by 100. But we know that time period is same in all the three cases and it is given as 1 year. Okay. So we can write this as P1 R1 is equal to P2 R2 is equal to P3 R3. R1, R2 and R3 is given as 4, 6 and 8. So on substituting these values we will get 4P1 is equal to 6P2 is equal to 8P3. Now in this type of questions, first we need to find out the ratios of the principals. That is, we need to find out P1 is to P2 is to P3. Then we need to find out the sum of the ratios of the principals. And in the question, the sum total principal is given as 2600. So by using this value and the sum of the ratios of the principals, we can find out the principal invested in the first case. Okay. So let us first find out the ratios of the principals. Okay. So first consider this part. On considering this part, we will get the ratios of the principals P1 and P2. Okay. So from this, P1 by P2 is equal to 6 by 4, that is 3 by 2. Then consider this part. Okay. So on considering this part, we will get the ratios of P2 and P3. So P2 by P3 is equal to 8 by 6, that is 4 by 3. So P1 is to P2 is 3 is to 2 and P2 is to P3 is 4 is to 3. But we need to find out the ratios of P1, P2 and P3. That is, we need to find out P1 is to P2 is to P3. Okay. Then only we will be able to find out the sum of these ratios. Okay. So, first let us find out the ratios P1 is to P2 is to P3. So, for that write here P1, P2, P3. P1 is to P2 is 3 is to 2, that you write here. Then P2 is to P3 is 4 is to 3, that you write here. Okay. Now what we need to do is, we need to make the middle value same. That is, we need to make the values of the P2 same. So for that, we need to multiply this 2 by a 2. On multiplying this 2 by 2, we will get it as 4. Then we can make the values of the P2 same. Now when you are multiplying this 2 by 2, you need to multiply this 3 also by 2. Then we can write this as P1, P2, P3. 3 into 2 is 6, 2 into 2 is 4. This is 4 and this is 3. Now we have made the middle values same. Okay. Now the ratios of the principals or P1 is to P2 is to P3 will be 6 is to 4 is to 3. Okay. So we can write this as P1 is to P2 is to P3 is 6 is to 4 is to 3. Then what will be the sum of the ratios? Sum of the ratios will be 6 plus 4 plus 3, that is 13. In the question, the total principal is given as 2600. So we can represent this 13 as 2600. We need to find out the money invested at 4%. That is, we need to find out the principal in the first case. So if 13 can be represented as 2600, how can we write this 6? On finding this value, we will get the value of the principal in the first case. Okay. So see here, this 13 when multiplied by 200 we are getting 2600. So if you multiply this 6 also by 200, you will get this value. Okay, so P1 will be equal to 6 into 200, that is rupees 1200. You can also find this by cross multiplying. Okay, that is 2600 into 6, 2600 into 6 divided by this 13. That will also give you rupees 1200. Okay, so the principal in the first case, or the principal invested at 4% is rupees 1200. In the previous question we had a situation like P1 is to P2 was there, P2 is to P3 was there. We had to find P1 is to P2 is to P3. So in order to make that concept more clear, I am doing a similar problem. Here A is to B is given as 5 is to 4, B is to C is given as 8 is to 5. Then we need to find A is to B is to C. So for that, first write A, B, C. Then below this A and B write A is to B value, that is 5 is to 4. Then write the B is to C value, that is 8 is to 5. So below this B write 8 and below this C write 5. Okay. Now what you need to do is, you need to make this middle values same. Okay. So how can you make this middle value same? You can make it by multiplying this 4 by 2. So when you are multiplying this 4 by 2, you need to multiply this 5 also by 2. Then what you will get? A, B, C. This will be 5 into 2, that is 10. Here it will be 4 into 2, that is 8. Here it will be 8 and here this will be equal to 5. Then what is the ratio of A is to B is to C? That will be equal to 10 is to 8 is to 5. So A is to B is to C will be 10 is to 8 is to 5. Okay. Now if the question is like this, A is to B is to C is given as 1 is to 3 is to 4, B is to C is to D is given as 12 is to 16 is to 9. Then what will be the value for A is to B is to C is to D? So how can we find it? First write A, B, C, D. Now A is to B is to C is 1 is to 3 is to 4. That you write below this A, B, C. That is 1, 3, 4. Now B is to C is to D is given as 12 is to 16 is to 9. So below this B write 12, below this C write 16 and below this D write 9. Now what you need to do is, you need to make this middle values same. That is, the values of the B should be same and also the values of the C should be same. That is, if here it is 16, here also it should be 16. If here it is 12, here also it should be 12. So how can we make first this value same as that of this value? By multiplying this 4 by 4, we can make it also 16, or we can make this value same. So multiply this 4 by 4. So whenever you are multiplying to a particular value by 4, you need to multiply it to the entire line. So here also you need to multiply by 4, here also you need to multiply by 4. Now see, this B has already become same as that of this value. Okay. Now how can we write it? A, B, C, D. 1 into 4 is 4, 4 into 3 is 12, 4 into 4 is 16. Then this you write as it is. This is 12, 16 and 9. Now see, the middle values are same. Hence A is to, B is to, C is to, D will be equal to 4 is to 12 is to 16 is to 9. 4 is to 12 is to 16 is to 9. So this is the answer. 58th question is, a sum of rupees 2600 is lent out in two parts in such a way that the interest on first part at 10% for 5 years is equal to that on another at 9% for 6 years. The sum lent out at 10% is. So in this question they are telling that a particular principal value is lent out in two different parts. So the first part was lent for 10% rate of interest and for a time period of 5 years, and the second part was for 9% rate and for the time period of 6 years. So we need to find out the principal that is lent for the first part or for 10%. So in this question they are also telling that interest in the first part is equal to that of the interest in the second part, that is I1 is equal to I2, and we know that I is equal to PRT by 100. So we can write P1 R1 T1 by 100 is equal to P2 R2 T2 by 100. 100 and 100 gets cancelled. Now from this we will get the ratio of the principals. So P1 we need to find out. R1 is given as 10, T1 is given as 5 is equal to P2 into R2 is given as 9 and T2 is given as 6. So from this P1 by P2 will be equal to 27 divided by 25, or we can say that P1 is to P2 is 27 is to 25. Now if P1 is 27, P2 is 25, what will be P1 plus P2, or what will be the sum of the ratios? Sum of the ratios will be 27 plus 25, that will be equal to 52. So this total principal is given in the question as 2600. If 52 can be written as 2600, what will be the value for the principal in the first part? We need to find out the principal in the first part. So if 52 can be written as 2600, how can we write 27? So we will get this P1 by cross multiplication. So P1 will be equal to 27 into 2600 divided by 52. So this will be equal to rupees 1350. So P1 is equal to rupees 1350. The next question is, a man invested rupees 600 in 3 parts at 5% for 4 years, second part at 6% for 5 years and third part at 8% for 3 years. If interest received on each part is equal, find amount invested at 5%. So this is similar question. In this question they are telling that a particular principal value is divided into 3 parts, and in the first part it is invested for 5% and for 4 years, second part is invested at 6% for 5 years and third part at 8% for 3 years, and we need to find out the principal in the first part. Here also the interest is given as same in all the cases. So since interest is same, we can write P1 R1 T1 is equal to P2 R2 T2 is equal to P3 R3 T3. Now let us substitute the values of rate and time period. So on substituting we will get P1 R1 T1 is 5 into 4, that is 20. 20 P1 is equal to R2 T2 is 6 into 5, that is 30 P2 is equal to R3 T3 is 8 into 3, that is 24 P3. Now first consider this two part. On considering this two part, we will get the ratio of P1 is to P2, that is 30 by 20, that will be equal to 3 is to 2. Now consider this two part. On considering this two part, we will get the ratio of P2 and P3. P2 is to P3 will be equal to 24 is to 30, that will be equal to 4 is to 5. But we want P1 is to P2 is to P3. So how can we find P1 is to P2 is to P3? Write P1, P2, P3. Below P1 and P2 write 3 and 2. Below P2 and P3 write this 4 and 5. We need to equate the middle values. So how can we make this equal? Multiply this 2 by 2. If you are multiplying here, you need to multiply here also by 2. Hence from here P1 is to P2 is to P3 will be equal to 3 into 2 is 6. So 6 is to 4:5. Okay. Now in the question, the total principal is given as 600. So since the total principal is given in the question, we need to find out the sum of the ratios of the principal. So what is the sum of the ratios of the principal? That will be equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3. 6 plus 4 plus 5. That is equal to 15. Now this total principal is given in the question as 600. So if this can be represented as 600, how can we write this 6? Or we need the value of the P1. So how can we write this 6? That we can find it out by cross multiplication. Hence this P1 will be equal to 600 into 6. 600 into 6 divided by this 15. So that will be equal to rupees 240. So if you solve this, you will get the answer as rupees 240. 60th question is, Sunil lends 40% of sum at 15%, 50% of the rest sum at 10% per annum and the rest at 18% per annum rate of interest. What would be the rate of interest if the interest is calculated on the whole sum of rupees 1200? So in this question they are telling that the total principal is 1200. 40% of that principal is lent at 15% rate. Then 15% of the remaining principal is lent at 10% rate and the remaining principal at 18%. Then what will be the rate of interest? So in this question we need to find out the rate of interest. So we know that rate of interest is equal to interest when principal is 100 and time period is 1 year. Okay. So when principal is 100 and time period is 1 year, whatever the interest value is, that will be equal to the rate of interest. So in this question, let us assume the principal as 100 instead of 1200. Okay, we need to find out the rate of interest. Hence we are assuming the principal as 100 and the time period is 1 year. Now we will find out the individual interest. Okay, after that we will find out the total interest. That total interest will be equal to the rate of interest. Okay, so Sunil lends 40% of sum at 15%. So what is 40% of the principal? Here we took the total principal as 100. Hence 40% of this 100 is 40. So when the principal is 40, rate of interest is given as 15. Okay. Then what will be the interest? Interest is equal to P into R into T by 100. So time period is 1 year. So PR by 100. P is 40, R is 15 by 100. That will be equal to 6. Now they are telling 50% of the rest sum at 10% per annum. So what is the 50% of the remaining sum? The remaining sum will be 100 minus 40. That is 60. So 50% of 60 is 50% of the remaining. Remaining is 100 minus 40, that is 60, will be equal to 30. Okay. So when the principal is 30, what is the rate of interest? That rate of interest is given as 10. Then what will be the interest value? Interest will be equal to 30 into 10 divided by 100. That will be equal to 3. Now they are telling that the remaining principal is lent at 18%. Now what will be the remaining principal? Remaining principal will be 100 minus this 40 plus 30. 40 plus 30 is 70. So 100 minus 70 will be the remaining principal, that is equal to 30. So when the principal is 30, what is the percentage rate of interest given? That is 18. Hence what will be the interest? Interest will be equal to 30 into 18 divided by 100, and that is equal to 5.4. Now we got all the individual interest. So what will be the total interest? Total interest will be 6 plus 3 plus 5.4. That will be equal to 14.4. Hence the total interest when the principal is 100 and time period is 1 year is 14.4. So that will be equal to the rate of interest. Hence rate of interest is equal to 14.4%. This is the answer. The next question is, a woman invests 1 by 3 of her capital at 7%, 1 by 4 at 8%, and the remainder at 10%. If her annual income is rupees 561, the capital is. So in this question they are telling that a woman invests 1 by 3 of her principal at 7%, 1 by 4 of her principal at 8%, and the remaining at 10%. Okay. So let us assume that the principal is equal to 12. Since this 12 can be divided by both this 3 and 4, so calculation will be easy. So let us assume the principal as 12. Then first 1 by 3 of her principal means 1 by 3 of 12, that is 4. So when the principal is 4, the rate of interest is 7%. Okay. So what will be the interest? Interest will be equal to P into R into T by 100. So here annual income is given as 561, which means the time period is 1 year. Okay. So interest will be equal to 4 into 7 divided by 100. That is equal to 28 by 100. Now they are telling 1 by 4 of her principal is lent at 8% rate. So 1 by 4 of principal is 1 by 4 of 12 is 3. So when the principal is 3, rate of interest is 8. So interest will be equal to 8 into 3 by 100, that is equal to 24 by 100. Now the remaining principal at 10%. So out of 12, 4 plus 3 over. So what will be the remaining principal? 12 minus 7. That will be equal to 5. So this, when the principal is 5, what is the rate of interest? That is 10. So interest will be equal to 5 into 10 divided by 100. That will be equal to 50 by 100. Okay. Now the individual interest is here. We need to find out the total interest. Okay. Here the total interest is given as 561. So here we need to find out the total interest when the principal is 12. So when the principal is 12, what will be the total interest? That will be 28 by 100 plus 24 by 100 plus 50 by 100. That will be equal to 102 by 100. Now this 102 by 100 or the total interest is given in the question as 561. We need to find the value of the principal. So if 102 by 100 can be written as 561, how can we write 12? So on finding this, you will get the value for the principal. Hence principal will be equal to 12 into 561 divided by 102 by 100. On solving this, you will get the answer as rupees 6,600. So this is the answer. The next question is, a father divides rupees 5,100 between his two sons Ram and Sam, who are 23 and 24 at present, in such a way that if their shares are invested at compound interest at 4% per annum, they will receive equal amount on attaining the age of 26 years. Find Ram's share. So in this question, a father divides a particular principal value among his two sons Ram and Sam when they were at the age of 23 and 24. Okay, so he invested their shares at compound interest at 4% per annum. So when they attained the age of 26 years, their total amount is same. So we need to find out what is Ram's share. So in compound interest, we know that amount is equal to P into 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to N. So for a particular value of amount, or when the amount is same, this principal will be inversely proportional to this 1 plus R by 100. Okay. So principal is inversely proportional to 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to N. Okay. Now what is the ratio of 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to N for Ram and Sam? Ram, Sam, their interest ratio will be 1 plus R by 100 whole raised to N1 is to 1 plus r by 100 whole raised to n2. On substituting the values, we will get 1 plus r is same for both, that is given as 4%. 1 plus 4 by 100 whole raised to n1. What is the time period of Ram? See, when Ram was 23 years, his father invested, and it was invested until he was 26 years. So, the number of years is 26 minus 23, that is 3. And what is the time period of Sam? When Sam was 24 years, his father invested the money, and it was invested until he was 26 years. So, what is his time period? 26 minus 24, that is 2 years. So, this will be equal to 1 plus 4 by 100 whole raised to 2. Okay. Now, on solving this, you will get 26 by 25 whole cube is to 26 by 25 whole square. Now, the powers gets cancelled and you will get 26 by 25 is to 1. Okay. So, the interest ratio will be equal to, interest ratio for Ram and Sam will be equal to 26 is to 25. Okay. So, I told this is inversely proportional to the principal. So, if interest ratio is 26 is to 25, what will be the principal? Principal ratio will be 25 is to 26, since they are inversely proportional. See, now if P1 is 25 and P2 is 26, or the principal ratio is 25 is to 26, what will be the sum of their ratio of principal? What is the sum of the ratio of principals? That is 25 plus 26, that is 51. Now, in the question, the total principal is given as 5100, which means this 51 is written as 5100. Then, we need to find out the share of Ram, which means we need to find out the principal in the first case. Okay. So, we need to find out P1. So, if 51 can be written as 5100, how can we write 25? Okay. See, 51 into 100 is 5100. So, here also we need to do into 100. Hence, P1 will be equal to 25 into 100. So, that is equal to rupees 2500. Hence, the principal for Ram or the Ram share is rupees 2500. So, this was the last question of this part of simple interest and compound interest. I will be back with more varieties of problem with shortcut tricks in the next part. If you feel this video helpful, like it, share it and subscribe it. Also press the bell button so that you get the notification when I am uploading my new videos. Thank you for watching the video. Bye.